So recording has been started.
Okay, all right, friends. So welcome you all to Back to Basics quick revision session. Today we will try to do B.R. Ambedkar, which is topic number 9 of Indian Political Thought, paper 1, section 1. So we'll first read through the topper's notes and then we can discuss among ourselves some concepts and doubts if any. ठीक है, start कर सकते हैं सर.
Okay. Biggest leader of Dalits in India, greatest, rather, undisputedly. Means no one before him and no one after him could achieve that height. Dhananjay Keer tells no other Dalit leader could achieve for his community as much as Ambedkar did. Arun Shourie, in his book Worshipping False God, tells Ambedkar as anti-national because of following reasons. Ambedkar had opposed Purna Swaraj resolution of 1929, thanked British for improving condition of depressed class, and directed Dalits to stay away from Gandhi's Harijan Sevak Sangh, Indian National Congress, and Ambedkar also called Pune Pact as Himalayan blunder. He criticized Quit India movement and supported Jinnah's demand for Pakistan and wanted British to stay. He held that priority to interest of Dalit over nation. Arundhati Rai, Christopher Jeffrey, in their article "Wrong to Call Ambedkar," they told that it is wrong to call Ambedkar anti-national because he represented largest section of Indian society, Bahujan Samaj, hence can't be regarded as anti-national. It was difficult for him to accept society divided into castes as a nation because nations is based on trinity of liberty, equality and fraternity. He was knowing and he told that I know we are politically divided. Economically and socially, we are a group of warring camps. I myself is a leader of one such camp. However, I am convinced that day will come when we will forget these differences and emerge as nations. When we realize we are not a nation, we will work for it. It means that he was trying to diagnose the disease instead of dressing him. Done. Life of Ambedkar belonged to the community of untouchables. He earned a degree in law and practiced law in Mumbai, but no one approached since he was lower caste. Hence, even educated Dalit won't get life of dignity. He found it. Dedicated life for abolition of untouchability and raising standards. He published magazine named Mook Nayak, newspaper Bahiskrit Bharat, established Bahiskrit Hitkarini Sabha, All India Depressed Class Federation, which was renamed as Republican Party of India. He organized Mahat Satyagraha. Since Gandhi refused to help, he took help of British. Yeah, actually, in Mahat Satyagraha, he also appealed to Gandhi to take up his cause, but he was refused. So then he took the two Britishers. Yeah, that's it. Next. Ambedkar's ideas. So main work is around abolition of caste, and annihilation of caste is one of the main work. In analysis of caste, he analyzes the concept of caste. He gives the origin of Varna and untouchability, criticism of Hinduism, Brahminism in particular. He had debate with Gandhi, demand for separate electorate and compensation for Dalits. He was not satisfied with explanation related to caste system found in religious texts. He attempted scientific understanding on the origin of caste based on anthropological evidence. His works are like Caste in India, Who Were Sudras. First work is Caste in India, second is Who is Sudras, third is Origin of Untouchability. He rejected the theory of Aryan invasion since there was no evidence for this. He believed that all castes had common origin. He rejected the view of Manu Smriti, according to which different varnas originated from different parts of Virat Purush, as mentioned in Rig Veda. Where we study na कि Brahmins had originated from the head and Kshatriya from the means arms kind of thing. The entire concept of caste is based on purity and pollution. And in analysis of origin of Shudra, he hold that Shudra were the Kshatriya who didn't accept Brahmin supremacy, hence Brahmin stopped their Upanayan Sanskar, which is related to pollution and purity. Upanayan Sanskar, I think, the Janev type Brahma Sutra. So one who is eligible to it, they are twice born, but Shudras were only born in biological sense. So wherever we have to study in a caste, so it is means related to purity and impurity. Caste come from the word Portuguese word casta. He has given the explanation of untouchability. He used work. He used means Dalit. He used the word Dalit, which comes from Marathi word Dal, meaning broken. When tribes started to settle, they practiced agriculture and cattle rearing. So it is kind of origin of the untouchability. Cattle was not needed for food, which remained tribe had which meant that the tribe had cattle in form of food and were defeated. These defeated tribes weren't given land and they were forced to live on the outskirts of village. They would watch security and would get food in return. Manu Smriti mentions them as Antaj, one who is at the last, meaning born in last chronology. Ambedkar didn't believe in this theory and said they were called Antaj since living outside. This tribe remained Buddhist and there was anger in Brahmins for this. Initially, beef eating was not prohibited, but to claim purity, Brahmins started avoiding non-veg food. So from here, Brahmins started to gain hegemony. Endogamy was started by Brahmins to show their purity and to maintain their purity, try to maintain their purity. There is no pure blood on the subcontinent since intermingling had started much before the origin of caste system. He doesn't consider untouchables as Hindu because if we consider them as Hindu, then no upliftment will work till they are in same order. It is due to caste system that Hinduism could not be missionary religion. What is missionary religion? Means one who tries to incorporate the people from other religions. So whenever Hinduism will try to incorporate from others, they will try to attach them to the lower varna because Brahmanism will be dominating that process as well. So it couldn't become a missionary religion. And if we go from the historical point of view, so one of the oldest religion, they don't want to be missionary. And they are not missionary in nature because the newer religion are more enthusiastic towards converting people from the others so as to augment their flanks. Caste system is responsible for weakness of India as a nation. So here we observe that he is also having concern for the growth of India as a nation. Hinduism is same as Brahmanism. So he also tells that Brahmanism is the basic structure of Indian society, not the economic, as opined by Karl Marx. He told that endogamy is the core principles of Brahmanism. Hence, intercaste marriage should be allowed. So it means Brahmanism was maintaining the purity on the basis of endogamy. So Ambedkar went for counter idea. He told that the religion which forced poor to remain poor and uneducated to remain uneducated, which allows man to touch the excreta of cow but not touch the fellow human being, is nothing but madness. of course. In Hinduism, justification of inequality is found even in philosophy. So that is the most heart-wrenching thing, or whatever it is. He appealed to reject Hinduism. He converted to Buddhism later.
यस सर, और वो जो है आपने साथ साथ 3 लाख लोगों को भी कन्वर्ट करवाए थे बुद्धिज्म में.
Yeah. Gandhi did not believe in conversion. He had debate with Gandhi on Varna system. Gandhi considered it as a division of labor. Ambedkar described Gandhi's description as too idealistic and textual. Because in political theory topic we had studied that even the classicals are also written in context. They are not transcendental. They are not having transcendental knowledge. Ambedkar also tells that Ambedkar described Gandhi's description as too idealistic and textual. Whatever it is was written in the philosophy, he took it. Gandhi. In reality, Varna exists as caste. So he also told that if Gandhi is preaching someone to be follow his Varna dharma, then he should also follow that Varna means work of his Varna, that is Baniya. He should have taken up the business, rather he go for the barristery. In reality, Varna exists as caste. So means Gandhi described and preached what he read in a text, Sanskrit text. But Ambedkar told that in reality Varna has transformed into caste, and it gets transformed into caste. He criticized Harijan Sevak Sangh because it was formed by Gandhi. Means the approach of Gandhi was that means Purushottam Das Birla, I think, that upper caste will be leading the Harijan Sevak Sanghs and they will be leading the untouchables movement. But Ambedkar told that why should untouchable not be the manager and leader of those organizations? Ambedkar also objected the use of word Harijan by Gandhi because it is misleading. Harijan means the people of God, Hari Kajan. It is misleading since it does not tell the real status of untouchables in India. It put them into false consciousness. Means it. If we study the epistemology or approach of Ambedkar now, we shall find that he just want to go to the root cause of everything. Don't tell it Harijan. It is just a top dressing. We should get it rid of the. We should explore and we should interrogate the root. Just don't get for the textual knowledge of Varna. We should interrogate their functioning in real world, which is kind of caste. This transforms into caste. He also tell that it means just don't tell that nationalism India's nation. We should explore the real cause of nations making, and we should integrate that. With respect to democracy, he also tells that democracy is the top soil in Indian society, which is inherently undemocratic. Okay. Next. Dalit revolution. Next topic is Dalit revolution. A Marxist mode is not relevant in India, he tells. Because basic structure is not economic, rather ideological and Brahminism. So his approach of taking the things from, means learning from things from other scholars, but not taking as it is in Indian context, he will try to modify everything and make it suitable to the Indian context. So in framing the constitution itself, he had acknowledged that we have ransacked almost all the constitutions of the world, and still we have seen that that constitution has worked well in Indian system, so Indian context. So his approach is reflecting also here. He thrived on the ideas of Marx revolution's basic structure, but he transformed it into the need and context of the Indian society, which M.N. Rai could not have done. He tells that Brahmanism is the basic structure, hence annihilation of caste is necessary. Dalits will have to go for building counter hegemony. Here we see the applicability of Gramsci's idea. He was also influenced by John Dewey. He told society in India is more exploitative and hence state can help by affirmative action, and Ambedkar vouched for this and was successful in this. So John Dewey's idea of affirmative actions is reflected in his approach in framing the constitution as well. Gandhi favored Panchayati Raj, which was against a state-led model, but Ambedkar held that Indian villages are the den of ignorance, den of casteism. He along with modernist Nehru, both Ambedkar and Nehru were modernist here, and went for the industrialization, modernization, and mobilization of people from village to urban, because their caste system was not that much entrenched, and if it will provide them mobility to assimilate with others, to get intermingled with others without having their identity as based on castes. Otherwise, village republics would be a den of casteism, caste practices, because in every village we find that some particular caste or groups dominate over others. So I think there is a pragmatic approach adopted by him, and that worked too. Change in status of Dalits requires emergence of consciousness in Dalits themselves. So here we shall observe that Gramscian's idea of counter hegemony or coalition of subalterns, he also went for that change in status of Dalit requires emergence of consciousness in Dalits themselves. His mantra was educate, organize and agitate. शिक्षित बनो, संगठित रहो, संघर्ष करो. So these ideas are like mantras and tools for any subaltern group. Be educated, because education will bring the empowerment, and be organized, unity in strength, and agitate means take your rights, snatch your rights, claim your rights. We had also observed Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's approach of empowerment through education, and we still observe that education brings the human capability to the fore, and it also leads to the economic growth. So I think education is one of the best tools with which we can change the world, in the words of Nelson Mandela. Okay, next topic.
बताओगे सर इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स?
हो गया?
हाँ खत्म हो गया, इसमें तो इतना ही दिया हुआ है.
ओके,
देखते हैं बाकी, लेकिन ये भी काफी हेवी लगा मेरे को भी. थोड़ा सा एक बार और क्विक रिवीजन कर लें इसका.
हाँ,
बस इम्पोर्टेंट कीवर्ड्स बता दो.
हाँ ठीक है,
पूरा मत पढ़ो, बस क्विकली.
हाँ समझ गया. So Ambedkar is undoubtedly the tallest leader of Dalits in India. Dhananjay K tells that no other Dalit leader could achieve for his community as much as he did, neither earlier nor later. Arun Shourie in his book For Worshipping False God tells him anti-national. Ambedkar called Pune act as Himalayan Balander. These are the kind of text. A life of Ambedkar, he belonged to a community of untouchables, that is Mahad in Maharashtra. Earned degree in law and practiced law in Mumbai as well. He also had completed PhD in economics on the rupee, I think. But his life was itself an experience of the classical untouchables practice, means practice of untouchability. So he capitalized on those things. He, when educated Dalit, want to get life of dignity. He was having the first-hand experience of this. So dedicated his life for the abolition of untouchability. Magazine, Mook Nayak, newspaper, Bahiskrit Bharat, established Bahiskrit Hitkarni Sabha, All India Displaced Class Federation, which transformed to Republican Party of India. He organized Mahasatyagraha, I think, in 1927. Though he approached Gandhi for taking up their cause, but Gandhi was not interested, so he took up the help of British. Arundhati Rai countered the Arun Shoury's view along with his Christopher Jeffers Law. Arundhati Rai tells that it is wrong to say that he was anti-national because he represented the largest section of Indian society, that is Bahujan Samaj, can't be regarded as anti-national, and it is difficult for him to accept society divided into caste as nations. There must be trinity of liberty, equality and fraternity. And his famous statement goes like this: I know we are divided politically, economically and socially. We are a group of warring camps. I myself is a leader of one such camp. However, I am convinced that day will come when we forget the difference and emerge as a nations. So when we realize we are not nations, we will work for it. His ideas means abolition of caste, annihilation of caste, analysis of caste. In analysis of caste, he take the concept of caste, origin of caste, origin of Varna and untouchability, criticism of Hinduism, Brahminism, debate with Gandhi, demand for separate electorate and compensation, etc. I was not satisfied with the explanation related to caste system found in religious text. Attempted scientific understanding on the origin of caste based on anthropological evidence. His works in caste in India, who were Sudras, the origins of untouchability. He rejected the theory of Aryan invasion because of lack of evidence. He believed all castes had common origin. He also rejected Manusmriti, putting dynamite on it that. Virat Purush mentioned Rigved means he rejected the Manusmriti in totality. His entire concept of caste is based on purity and pollution. Origin of Sudra, he tells that Sudra were the Kshatriya who didn't accept Brahmin supremacy. Hence Brahmin stopped their Upanan Sanskar and led to pollution. Dalit revolution. In his idea of explanation of untouchability, he used word Dalit, which comes from Marathi word Dal, meaning broken. Means when tribes started to settle, they practiced agriculture and cattle rearing. Cattle was not needed for food. So means actually those people were thrown out of the outskirts of the villages, and the defeated tribes were there, and the defeated tribes they were not offered land, and they were forced to live on the outskirts. That's it. So Manusmriti mentioned them as antaj. Means in chronological sense, last chronology. But Ambedkar didn't believe in this. He didn't believe in the chronology of Manusmriti. He told that he antaj because he was living on the outside, at the last place. So their tribe remained Buddhist, and there was anger in Brahmins for this. Initially, beef eating was not prohibited, but to calm purity, Brahmins started avoiding non-veg food. So indigamy by Brahmins to show their purity, denouncing non-veg food to maintain their supremacy by Brahmins. So Ambedkar also told that there is no pure blood on the subcontinent, since already intermingling had started much before the origin of caste system. So Brahmins started it later to show their supremacy. That's it. It is due to caste system that Hinduism could not be missionary religion. Caste system is responsible for weakness of India as a nation. Hinduism and Brahminism are same. Endogamy is the core principles. Hence, he went for interdining and intercaste marriage, both things. The religion which forces poor to remain poor, uneducated to remain uneducated, which allows man to touch the excreta of cow but not touch the fellow human beings, is nothing but madness. Justification of inequality is even in philosophy of Hinduism. Converted to Buddhism, a debate with Gandhi on Varna system. Gandhi considered it as a division of labor. Ambedkar described Gandhi's description as too idealistic and textual. In reality, Varna exists as caste. Criticized Harijan Sevak Sangh, formed by Gandhi, objected use of word Harijan itself. In Dalit revolution, it is Marxist mode, it is not relevant to India. Basic structure is ideological and Brahminism. Brahminism is the basic structure, and annihilate the caste. Dalits will have to go for building counter-hegemony. He was influenced by John Davies. Idea of society in India is more exploitative, and hence the state can help by affirmative actions. Gandhi favored Panchayati Raj, but Ambedkar countered by telling it a den of ignorance. He went for the mantra of educate, organize and agitate. And emergence of the consciousness in Dalit itself, class for itself.
हो गया है क्या कंप्लीट?
According to notes, it has been done.
अच्छा, दो इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक जो है, एक तो सोशल जस्टिस, आइडिया ऑफ अंबेडकर और सोशल जस्टिस, और दूसरा आइडिया ऑफ स्टेट सोशलिज्म. ये दो इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक जो अंबेडकर में थे ये रह गए. क्या कोई ऐड करना चाहेगा क्या?
State socialism we had discussed in paper 1 section 2 in detail.
अच्छा, विद रिस्पेक्ट टू अंबेडकर आगे अपन यहाँ पे अगर थोड़ा सा डिस्कस कर लें तो.
Okay. Should I go for it?
हाँ सर बताइए बिल्कुल.
I am reading it from somewhere else. Ambedkar has given the concept of state socialism in his memorandum titled State and Minorities, submitted to Constituent Assembly on behalf of All India Scheduled Caste Federation in 1946. Ambedkar did not prefer Marxist approach. He believed that economic structure is not the basic structure of Indian society. Hence, without changing the ideological structure, Brahminism cannot there cannot be so means without changing the ideological structure of Brahminism, there cannot be any real change. Since society in India will be reluctant to change, partnership with the state would be essential. Means he will go for affirmative actions. He will go for the positive role played by the state. Hence, he favored state-led affirmative actions. In his memorandum on state socialism, he gave the following ideas: all citizens to be treated equally, one man, one vote, one value, no religion to be a state religion, reservation as a compensation, liberty of conscience to all citizens, nationalization of agricultural land, collective farming, state control of industries, regulation of wages, equitable distribution of means of cooperation. Ambedkar was also inspired by liberalism. He preferred constitutional methods of struggle. So whenever we write any idea of Ambedkar with respect to constitution, we must write that constitutionalist Ambedkar, or Ambedkar being a constitutionalist, or Nehru, modernist Nehru. Ambedkar is not against religion. For Ambedkar, Buddhism is not opium for masses, but rather it is nourishment. It is best suited for the nourishment of soul. Ambedkar is not against a state. Rather, he wants a state to be there for affirmative role and state-led socialism. Actually, he will be in removing untouchability. He is compared with Gandhian approach. So, what is there in this?
देखो पहली बात तो ये कॉर्नर में लेफ्ट साइड में दिख रहा है ना, पीटी कोलैब 2022, बेसिकली ये है कि मतलब कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट करके अगर कोई चीज करनी है, जैसे मैं एग्जांपल देता हूँ, लास्ट ईयर हम लोगों ने ऐसा करा था ना, जैसे फेमस पर्सनैलिटी होते हैं, अब हर पर्सनैलिटी के बारे में अपने बुक्स में तो दिया हुआ है, बट देन इट मे नॉट बी सफिशिएंट, जैसे टेक्स्ट बुक के नाम है, न्यूज़पेपर के नाम है, ऐसे कुछ ना कुछ एक्स्ट्रा इन्फॉर्मेशन जो विकिपीडिया से वगैरह कहीं ना कहीं से यूपीएससी पूछ लेता है बार बार। थोड़ा सा लास्ट हमने कलेक्शन करा था, तो ऐसे हर एक बंदे को एक एक पर्सनैलिटी असाइन कर दी थी, एंड उनको फिर पढ़ के इसको रिसर्च करके गूगल सर्च करके लिखने बोला था ऐसे पॉइंट्स। तो गांधी और अम्बेडकर का भी पढ़ लेते हैं, बाकी बाद में देख लेंगे। समझ गए ना मतलब सब लोग?
गॉट इट।
हाँ, तो मतलब वही बस बेसिकली कलेक्टिव एफर्ट्स मतलब कैसे करना है, इसके लिए प्रीलिम के लिए हमने यही करा था। So we can do something like this after mains is over. For now we'll just read through Ambedkar and Gandhi. ESIR के लिए ज़्यादा important नहीं है, but factual चीजें हैं, we should I think memorize this. कहीं ना कहीं कोट तो कर ही सकते हैं ना?
जी बिल्कुल।
ठीक है, तो we'll start with Ambedkar first या गांधी करना है पहले?
सर अम्बेडकर अभी हो रहा था, अम्बेडकर कर लीजिए, उसके बाद
ठीक
गांधी।
है, दिख रहा है क्या आप लोग
बचा हुआ
को?
है, हाँ दिख रहा
कितना
है,
कर रहे थे
लेकिन
पहले?
क्लियर अभी 100% क्लियर नहीं है।
ठीक है, आप क्लियर है?
या
तो पहले तो देख लो आदि, ये अम्बेडकर का फोटो है, फिर इनका बर्थ था 14 अप्रैल 1891 से 1956 तक थे, 6 दिसंबर 1956। इनके मेजर वर्क्स क्या क्या है इनके, पहला कॉलम है बुक, फिर न्यूज़पेपर है, फिर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। ठीक है, तो इनके मेजर वर्क्स क्या क्या है, अनहिलेशन ऑफ कास्ट 1936 में था ये, थॉट्स ऑन पाकिस्तान 1940 में लिखा था इन्होंने बुक के, थॉट्स ऑन पाकिस्तान। फिर हु वेयर शुद्राज भी एक है, द बुद्धा और कार्ल मार्क्स, रिवॉल्यूशन एंड काउंटर रिवॉल्यूशन इन एंशिएंट इंडिया, द बुद्धा एंड इज धम्मा। फिर इनके कुछ अनफिनिश्ड बुक्स थे जो फिनिश नहीं हुए थे, बस वैसे ही रिलीज कर दिए थे, वेटिंग फॉर वीजा, ये ऑटोबायोग्राफी थी उनकी, द बुद्धा और कार्ल मार्क्स, रिवॉल्यूशन एंड काउंटर रिवॉल्यूशन इन एंशिएंट इंडिया। तो ठीक है, ठीक है, बाकी चिल्ड्रन ऑफ इंडियाज घेटो 1951 सेंसस, व्हाट कांग्रेस एंड गांधी हैव डन टू द अनटचेबल्स, मिस्टर गांधी एंड द इमेंसिपेशन ऑफ द अनटचेबल्स। तो बस ये बुक्स के नाम है जो अंबेडकर के साथ संबंधित है। इसके अलावा न्यूज़पेपर्स है कुछ। द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द रूपी, इट्स ओरिजिन एंड सॉल्यूशन 1923। आई थिंक दशरथ सर यही रेस कर रहे थे। उनका कुछ थीसिस का टॉपिक भी यही था।
Yes, sir.
फिर एक और है द इवोल्यूशन ऑफ प्रोविंशियल फाइनेंस इन ब्रिटिश इंडिया। फिर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड फाइनेंस ऑफ द ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी। तो फाइनेंस में काफी काम करा था उन्होंने, बट हमें सिखाया नहीं जाता जनरली। तो पाकिस्तान और पार्टीशन ऑफ इंडिया, बुद्धिज्म एंड कम्युनिज्म, इसके ऊपर ऐसे लिखा था। फिर 5 अलग अलग पीरियोडिकल्स थे। मूक नायक, द लीडर ऑफ द डम्ब 1920, बहिष्कृत भारत, ऑस्ट्रेसाइज सोसाइटी 1924 का ये, समता इक्वालिटी 1928, जनता द पीपल 1930, प्रबुद्ध भारत एनलाइटेंड इंडिया। फिर मूक नायक, इंडिया अ होम ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी, पाक और पार्टीशन ऑफ इंडिया, स्टेट्स एंड माइनॉरिटीज, पता नहीं क्या है। ठीक है। फिर 1948 में अनटचेबिलिटी के ऊपर थीसिस लिखा था उन्होंने। डीड फॉर चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस 1953 एंड लिंग्विस्टिक स्टेट्स। तो ये सारे उनके पीरियोडिकल्स थे, मतलब ऐसे बुक्स पीरियोडिकल्स। तो बस क्विकली रिवाइज कर लो फिर से। मूक नायक, बहिष्कृत भारत, समता, जनता, प्रबुद्ध भारत, मूक नायक। फिर अनटचेबिलिटी के ऊपर था, लिंग्विस्टिक स्टेट्स। फिर प्रॉब्लम ऑफ रूपी देखा, फाइनेंस के बारे में 2 बुक्स थे। फिर उनके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के नाम क्या क्या है। बहिष्कृत हितकारिणी सभा 1924 का था, और इसी के अंदर उन्होंने जो अभी पढ़ा ना अपन ने, एजुकेट, एजिटेट एंड ऑर्गेनाइज, इसी के अंदर बोला है उन्होंने। फिर इंडिपेंडेंट लेबर पार्टी 1936 में बनाया उन्होंने। शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट फेडरेशन 1942-46 में बनाया। भारतीय बुद्ध महासभा, बौद्ध महासभा एंड बुद्धिस्ट सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडिया 1955। ऑल इंडिया शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट फेडरेशन, समाज समता संघ 1927। फिर से पढ़ लेता हूँ। बहिष्कृत हितकारिणी सभा, इंडिपेंडेंट लेबर पार्टी, शेड्यूल कास्ट फेडरेशन, भारतीय बौद्ध सभा, बुद्धिस्ट सोसाइटी, ऑल इंडिया शेड्यूल कास्ट फेडरेशन, समाज समता संघ। इनका कुछ बायो दिया हुआ है, मतलब बेसिक्स उनके। महार कास्ट के थे, 1917 में रिटर्न आए थे इंडिया में। गांधी जी कब आए थे?
10.
हेलो,
ये क्या?
1915 जनवरी।
हाँ 1915 लग रहा है मेरे को भी। ठीक है, देखते हैं। फिर 1919 में ही हैड टेस्टिफाइड बिफोर साउथ बारो कमिटी। साउथ बारो कमेटी के सामने डिमांड रखी थी, मतलब अंबेडकर डिमांडेड सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट फॉर टचेबल हिंदू, अनटचेबल हिंदू, क्रिश्चियन, बुद्धिस्ट, पारसी एंड जू। तो इतने सारे के लिए उन्होंने मांगा था उस टाइम पे सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट। 1927 में महार सत्याग्रह हुआ। कालाराम टेम्पल मूवमेंट इन नासिक। हिल्टन यंग कमीशन था एक आरबीआई का, उसने अंबेडकर को विजन दिखा था। आई थिंक वो मेंबर थे शायद उसमें, पता नहीं। फिर उनके प्लेसेस अगर देखा जाए तो दापोडी, सातारा, ये उनसे एसोसिएटेड है। बॉम्बे प्रेसिडेंसी कमिटी, इसका मेंबर थे वो, वर्क विद साइमन कमीशन। बहिष्कृत भारत, जनता, प्रबुद्ध भारत देख लिया अपन ने। ही एंडोर्स्ड डोमिनियन स्टेटस and criticized Gandhi's salt march as well as civil disobedience movement as inopportune, but he also criticized British colonial misgovernment. Untouchables and the Pax Britannica, इसमें लिखा है कि अगस्त 14, 1931 में डॉक्टर अंबेडकर मेट विद गांधी फॉर फर्स्ट टाइम 1931 में। 1932 में ऑल इंडिया डिप्रेस्ड क्लासेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नागपुर में हुआ था, एंड यहाँ पे backed Dr. Ambedkar's demand for separate electorates, rejecting compromises proposed by others. ठीक है, मतलब कॉन्फ्रेंस ने बैक करा अंबेडकर को। ठीक है। 1935 में एवला कन्वर्शन कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ था। अभी कोई बोल रहा था ना कि बहुत सारे लोग हो गए थे, ओके, वी कैन रिलेट दिस टू हिज एवला कन्वर्शन कॉन्फ्रेंस। फिर मुल्क राज आनंद का एक नॉवेल है अनटचेबल, 1935 का है। फिर ये कूली शायद मूवी है क्या, पता नहीं, नॉवेल ही होगा। फिर इंडिपेंडेंट लेबर पार्टी बनाई। फेडरेशन वर्सेस फ्रीडम एक स्पीच दिया था इन्होंने। फिर 1939 में ही जॉइंड जिन्ना फॉर डे ऑफ डिलीवरेंस, सपोर्ट किया था जिन्ना को, मतलब डे ऑफ डिलीवरेंस के बारे में।
मुक्ति
कम्युनल
दिवस।
सॉरी
मुक्ति दिवस वो 1939 में इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स हैड रिजाइंड है ना,
ओके
मुक्ति दिवस।
ठीक है। तो ये मतलब ये सब फैक्चुअल डेटा था, ज़्यादा कुछ काम का नहीं, ऑप्शनल में वैसे भी।
I think there are in OP Rawat there it is written Gandhi's and Ambedkar comparison and Ambedkar and Marxist comparison.
बताओ बताओ।
So first going to Gandhi and Ambedkar comparisons on emancipation of the untouchables. So with respect to description of untouchable, Gandhi tells that they are men of God, Harijans. Ambedkar told that they are untouchables, depressed class, scheduled class. Attitude towards religion, Gandhi tells fountain of morality must be followed faithfully. Ambedkar told that it is a device to perform certain social functions like solemnization of marriages, etc. Procedure for social functions can be redefined on logical basis. The religion of rules should be replaced by religion of principles. Attitude towards caste system, Gandhi told that it is an integral part of Hinduism. It should be retained, but its rigidity should be removed. Ambedkar told it is a source of social justice. Annihilation of caste is the only way to restore social justice. Attitude towards modern civilization, Gandhi's view is that industrialization and urbanization led to moral decline. They should be stopped forth. Ambedkar told that modernization is a liberating force. Untouchables should make full use of the opportunities opened up by the modern civilization. They should shift to towns and cities, get modern education, and take up modern professions rather than being tied to their caste-based professions. On the issue program of emancipation and of the untouchables, Gandhi's view was that gradual social reform persuade Hindu society to accept dignity of labor and to fraternize the untouchables. Ambedkar's view, the untouchables to shed inferiority complex, challenge irrational beliefs, avail themselves of the government-sponsored welfare program, take advantages of reservations, transform themselves through modern education and taking up modern professions, rely on legal channels for protection of their rights. These are there. With respect to comparison, okay. With respect to okay, sir. With respect to comparison between Ambedkar and Marxism, though Ambedkar believed in Marxist concept of class and class struggle, he even organized working classes in India. However, Ambedkar believed that Marxism is not much relevant for India because neither as a mode of analysis in India, since in India the basic structure of society is not economic structure but caste or Brahminism. Hence, the situation of Dalits will not change with the change in mode of production. Ambedkar didn't agree with Marx's view of state as an instrument of dominant class. He gave faith in affirmative action by state. Ambedkar was a strong believer in democracy, including political democracy, and would not have supported any sort of dictatorship, even if it is dictatorship of proletariat, for the transitional period. Means he was a great constitutionalist. He had disagreement with Marx's view that religion is opium for masses. Marx must not have studied all the religions. He held that Buddhism cannot be considered as opium of masses. Buddhism has a lot for nourishment of the human soul. That's it. With respect to Buddhism, he also told means I prefer Buddhism because it gives three principles in combinations, which no other religion does. Buddhism teaches prajna, that is understanding, against superstition and supernaturalism, karuna, that is love and compassion, and samata, that is equality. This is what man wants for a good and happy life. My social philosophy may be said to be enshrined in three words: liberty, equality, and fraternity. My philosophy has roots in religion and not in political science. I have derived them from the teachings of my master, the Buddha. That's it. With respect to Gandhi's idea of the means relying on the conscience of upper caste to remove the practice of untouchability, Ambedkar told that lost rights are never regained by appeals to the conscience of the usurpers, but by relentless struggle. Goats are used for sacrificial offerings and not lions are used. He also told that untouchability has ruined the untouchables, the Hindus, and ultimately the nation as well. If the depressed classes gain their self-respect and freedom, they would contribute not only to their own progress and prosperity, but by their industry, intellect, and courage would also contribute to the strength and prosperity of the nation. I also stress that political tyranny is nothing compared to social tyranny. A reformer who defies society is much more courageous man than a politician who defies government. So here is drawing parallel with the INC's opposition to British rules and untouchables opposition to upper caste. With respect to democracy, he tells democracy is not merely a form of government, it is primarily a mode of associated living, of conjoint communicated experience. It is essentially an attitude of respect and reverence towards fellow men. Ambedkar converted into Buddhism on 14 November 1956. Ambedkar held by disowning the religion of his birth, he is reborn. He held that I reject Hinduism, I reject religion which discriminates between man and man, which treats me inferior. According to him, Hindus are the race of losers. Hindus can never face the challenge of other religions like Islam or Christianity. Hindus are warring castes. They are never be united. They can never be united and hence will always be defeated. According to him, Hindus are not bad people, but they are extremely religious. Hinduism does not allow abolishing caste. According to him, religion which forces poor to remain poor and educated to remain uneducated, which allows men to touch cow dung but not to touch the fellow human being is not a religion but a madness. ये भी है. Hierarchy है Hinduism में. There is hierarchy in Hinduism. Purity and pollution concept in Hinduism. Heaven for those who are higher in the ladder, hell for those who are on the lower side. Yeah.
दृश्यम सर, आपने कहा था ना वो कि आरबीआई वाला क्या है, तो वो है कि जो अंबेडकर की जो बुक है ना, प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ रुपीज एंड इट्स ओरिजिन एंड इट्स सॉल्यूशन, वो उसने ही कंसेप्ट दिया आरबीआई का। मिल्टन यांग जो बोल रहे हैं ना उस लाइन में, वो यही कह रहे हैं कि जो अंबेडकर की बुक है ना, प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ रुपीज एंड इट्स ओरिजिन एंड इट्स सॉल्यूशन, उन्होंने वही से ये कंसेप्ट लिया गया आरबीआई का। ओके, तो दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड टू ऐड। और अंबेडकर ने ना वर्क आवर को रिड्यूस कराया, मतलब ही सक्सेसफुली रिड्यूस्ड। उन्होंने यही मतलब काम किया कि 12 घंटे से 8 घंटे काम वर्क आवर हो जाए, मतलब जो काम के घंटे हैं। ओके, उसके बाद
So
उन्होंने
means go ahead.
हाँ जी सर, बोलिए बोलिए, बिल्कुल।
आप प्लीज कंटिन्यू कीजिए.
उसके बाद उन्होंने ना एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंज इन इंडिया को भी सेटअप कराया। ही कंट्रीब्यूटेड इन द आइडिया ऑफ सेटिंग अप एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंज इन इंडिया। ठीक है, हिंदू कोड बिल तो सबको पता ही है, वो लक्ष्मीकांत में तो है ही। that's it.
He had also great insights into the working of economics in India. So his ideas were not in futile. His thesis were actually guiding the Indian economy and still is guiding it. He even worked for the workers, untouchables. He framed the constitution. And after all, he was like a real god for millions of people who were there and who were yet to be born.
यस यस सर, एक बार मैंने सर्च किया था तो इसमें दिखा रहा था कि वर्ल्ड के नंबर 1 स्कॉलर जो है ना, बी आर अम्बेडकर को माना जाता है. वेदर आई एम राइट और रॉन्ग आप एक बार चेक कर लेना, बट विकिपीडिया पे तो मैंने यही देखा है. मुझे लगा शायद प्लेटो या और एरिस्टोटल कंसीडर किया जाता होगा, बट सरप्राइजिंगली
If anybody have particularly told this, so that is different thing. Otherwise, we can't. We are listening it for the first time. So okay. Yeah, otherwise, if any scholar had told, so that is different thing. We can quote. Ambedkar was also not in favor of Panchayati Raj. Means Ambedkar was extremely critical of Gandhian methods of direct action, call it as grammar of anarchy. And by giving the idea of constitutional morality, he told that there should not be a place of grammar of anarchy in independent India. Ambedkar framed constitutional methods. He believed that with affirmative actions in favor of Dalits, a state can play a big role in their upliftment. Ambedkar believed that society can be more oppressive than a state. So he was countering the view of Gandhi also here. With respect to Varna, Gandhi had gone for the functional specializations, but Ambedkar countered it by telling that it is textual. Caste, Varna is text, caste is context. Gandhi himself do not follow his Varna dharma. Gandhi was against conversions. Gandhi believed that if a person is born in a particular religion, there is a divine will, and one should not go against divine will. However, Gandhi believed that we should be open to accept good things of all religions. On the other hand, Ambedkar actually converted his religion from Hinduism to Buddhism. He told that it was not my choice to be born as Hindu, but it is my choice to be not die as Hindu. Ambedkar's approach to counter casteism was also like this: promote intercaste marriage, promote intercaste dining, state-led affirmative actions, modernizations, education, agitation. Okay.
मैं ऐड करता हूँ कुछ. ये एक मैंने ग्रुप में शेयर करा है, आइडियाज ऑफ अंबेडकर विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू सोशल जस्टिस. इसको देख लें क्या?
Sir. Yeah.
ठीक है, तो ये मैम के नोट्स से ही है सीधा. तो इसमें ये शॉर्ट में बता देता हूँ इसको कि गांधी अंबेडकर का जो व्यू था सोशल जस्टिस को was to provide basically provide compensatory justice था उनका आइडिया. और he emerged as the tallest leader, not only for the Dalits, but also for the largely subaltern class of India, like the untouchables, the Shudra, the women's, the minorities, the laborers, and the peasants. Also now I'll read the answer here. The answer goes that justice is the first virtue as Rawls. The issue of social justice has been not only the concern of political philosophers but political leaders also. So Ambedkar's idea of justice, social justice, has to be seen in the context of peculiar form of injustices found in the Indian society. The basic composition of Indian society has been based on caste. According to Ambedkar, caste system is graded system of hierarchy, where the life of people at the lowest level is like a hell. Ambedkar belonged to the community of untouchable, the Antyaj, the most depressed section. अभी बता रहे हैं इनका background. Social justice for Ambedkar meant a life of dignity to this section of the society. ये main idea था. According to Ambedkar, social justice requires annihilation of caste. Since caste is the basic structure of Hindu society, it also means rejection of Hinduism. For Ambedkar, Hinduism is not a religion but madness. ये Marxist school लगा है यहाँ पे. So the Ambedkar knew that caste Hindus will not be able to come out of caste system. Hence, the practical approach to justice in the Indian context would be compensatory justice. He believed that political power is necessary for empowerment of untouchables, hence he advocated separate electorates, but ultimately succumbed to pressure of Gandhi and finally agreed to reservation. फिर Ambedkar's idea of social justice embraced the concerns of India's subaltern class, the Bahujan Samaj. It includes concerns of untouchables, Shudras, tribals, women, minorities, liberals, peasants, etc. It was his idea of social justice which inspired him as a law minister to bring Hindu Code Bill. This bill challenged the patriarchy present with Hindu personal laws based on Manuvad. The special rights which minorities have in India can be attributed to Ambedkar's idea of justice. एक पॉइंट है जो इसमें नहीं है, मैं ऐड कर देता हूँ कि if गांधी से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं कि if Gandhi was father of the nation, then Ambedkar was the father of constitution. और फिर अरुंधति रॉय भी कहते हैं कि addresses Gandhi as saint and Ambedkar as doctor. तो सोशल जस्टिस और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के रिस्पेक्ट में हम इसको फादर ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और अंबेडकर एज डॉक्टर एंड गांधी एज सेंट.
Yeah, actually, Arundhati Roy has written a book or article, I think, as a doctor and the saint. Actually, when annihilation of caste is an article, it is just like now when I think there was a organization of any conference against untouchability in Punjab area type by upper caste, and they had called Ambedkar to deliver a presidential speech there. But before it, they asked Ambedkar to send their speech beforehand so that they can read before their delivery at the stage. So Ambedkar refused to do so. And in turn, though organizers refused to deliver the speech and refused Ambedkar's presidential speech there altogether. So Ambedkar didn't go there, and he published his article, a speech as an article, Annihilation of Caste. And later what happened, there was an exchange of letters between Gandhi and Ambedkar on the approach to abolish untouchability. In those letters, both have termed one another like, no, you are like saint. He was telling that doctor, because the doctorate degree at that time was one of the greatest thing, and his ideas were also practicable on the real sense in Indian context with respect to his thesis of doctorate as well in economics. So this is that is why he called it doctor, and Gandhi was referred as saint also in masses. So that is why Gandhi also tells that we should not do hero worship, cult worship, because he was referred to as saint, because masses were having bhakti cult, not applying rationals. So that's why Arundhati Roy has used those terms.
हाँ, और इनका जो आइडिया था सोशल जस्टिस का, वो स्टेट लेड था कि स्टेट की भागीदारी ज्यादा बढ़े, ना कि जो दूसरे मार्क्सिस्ट स्टेट्स जो थे उनके एवज में जो इंडिया का मॉडल जो इन्होंने दिया वो सोशलिस्ट डेमोक्रेटिक सोशलिज्म वाली बात करी थी. तो सोशल जस्टिस में अपन ये भी कोट कर सकते हैं.
ठीक है. Should I stop the recording, guys?
Yeah, sir, I think.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you.